everybody, Mrs. Tamita here. Today in art class, you are going to continue working on your Ming Dynasty pottery inspired drawings. Remember, Ming Dynasty pottery usually contains images of animals and nature, and it also is always blue and white. When we just use one color in something, we call that monochromatic. So today, you are going to color your Ming Dynasty drawing, but use only blue colors to make it monochromatic. So for our background details, we are going to use flowers and plants and things from nature, just like you would find on a Ming Dynasty vase. So as you can see, I have this idea sheet in front of me with flowers and plants on it. And if you would like to use this idea sheet, you definitely can. You would just find this place in the video while you're working and pause it right here on this screen. So there's tons of different ideas on here. You don't have to copy them exactly, or you don't have to use them at all. They're just ideas for you if you would like them. But I'm going to use some of these ideas to add details to the background of my dragon. And I am using a dragon. I know some of you might have birds, but it's still going to be the same concept. As you can see, since we're doing monochromatic artwork, I only have blue supplies. I have a couple different blue crayons and a couple different blue markers. If you only have one blue thing, that's okay. I'm just using as much as I can. So I'm going to start by drawing some flowers around the border of my paper. So I'm working on just trying to take up some of that extra space. I'm not bunching them all together, I'm kind of spreading them out. And as you can see right now, I'm just drawing them. I'm not coloring them in completely. And I'll explain why I'm doing that in just a little bit. So like I said, I'm spreading out these details across my paper. And now I'm going to pick up another utensil. This time I'm using a crayon. And maybe I'm going to add some leaves around the border as well. Again, just trying to take up some of that empty space. So as you can see, I've filled most of that empty space with different flowers and leaves. And now I'm going to start on my dragon. For this, I'm using a washable blue marker and I'm just tracing the outline. I'm going to show you something in a second. It's a technique that is optional. You don't have to do it. But if you use a washable marker, like a regular Crayola marker or any other washable one, you can kind of use it like watercolor if you have a paintbrush and a cup of water. And if you don't have those things, or if you'd rather just color it normally, you can definitely just color it normally. You can color it in solid, you could add scales to your dragon if you would like to. There's lots of different options, but I just want to show you a new technique that you have the option to use if you would like to. So now that I have drawn and traced everything with washable marker, I can just dip a paintbrush in water, and as you can see, as I'm kind of painting the surface, the color will bleed a little bit, meaning it'll run. So you can use the color that you use with your marker as a kind of a watercolor. Like I said, you don't have to do this, but I think it's a fun thing to do if you'd like to. Some things to keep in mind though are if you're working inside your sketchbook and you don't have like a loose piece of paper, you're going to want to put something underneath just the page that you're working on in your sketchbook. So maybe slide an extra piece of paper or a folder in between your pages, because when you do this, the water will kind of run onto the pages underneath it. So put something underneath it if you're going to do this. And notice that I'm not using a lot of water at all. Every time I dip my brush, I have wiped it off on the edge of my cup just to make sure that I'm not having like big puddles of water. I just want enough to get my colors to start running. So feel free to use this if you would like to, but remember, it's not a requirement. And this technique will not work with crayon or with Sharpie. It only works with washable or water-based markers. But here is my completed Ming Dynasty inspired drawing. that I have used a marker watercolor technique on. Just have fun with this, everyone, and I'm excited to see what you make.